don't skip this. They say silence is golden, but when used in the wrong moments, it can become the most dangerous weapon you possess. In a world rife with injustice, miscommunication, and conflict, silence isn't just about avoiding confrontation. It's a choice. And too often, that choice aligns with oppression, wrongdoing, or maintaining the status quo. Have you ever stayed quiet because speaking up felt too risky? Maybe at work when a colleague was treated unfairly, or at home when outdated traditions clashed with your values. That silence didn't just protect your comfort, it made you complicit. Today, we'll uncover 6 situations where staying silent isn't just the wrong choice, it's a betrayal of your integrity. These moments call for courage, clarity, and action. Principles deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy. But before we dive in, let me take a moment to thank you for your incredible support. Reading your thoughtful and encouraging comments fills me with joy. I read every single one. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the like button and turn on notifications so YouTube can recommend this content to others like you. Now, are you ready to confront the power of your voice? Let's begin. 1. When injustice is happening. Stoic philosophy views justice as more than a virtue. It's a responsibility. Marcus Aurelius said, "What's not good for the hive is not good for the bee." This reminds us that tolerating harm anywhere in a community eventually harms everyone, including those who choose to stay silent. So why do we choose silence? Often it's fear. Fear of confrontation, fear of retaliation, or fear of standing alone. These fears, while deeply human, can paralyze us, making us complicit in the very harm we hope to avoid. Ironically, though silence may seem like a way to preserve peace, it often fosters deeper chaos. It becomes the perfect breeding ground for injustice, which, like a wound left untreated, only worsens over time. I learned this lesson early in my career. A colleague was unfairly blamed for a mistake they hadn't made. I knew the truth, but I hesitated to speak up, convincing myself it wasn't my place, and fearing that intervening could jeopardize my position. My silence felt like a slow major betrayal, not just of my colleague, but of my own values. The guilt of that inaction stayed with me. By prioritizing my comfort, I had failed both my colleague and myself. Over time, I came to understand that silence in the face of injustice is a betrayal, not only of the victim, but of the integrity we claim to uphold. Fighting injustice doesn't always require dramatic gestures. Sometimes, it's about the small, courageous acts. Speaking the truth in a meeting, standing by someone unfairly attacked, or simply refusing to be a passive bystander. These seemingly small acts ripple outward, fostering trust and empowering others to act. Stoic philosophy teaches us that courage isn't about the absence of fear. It's about acting despite fear. Injustice thrives when good people remain silent. While silence might feel safe in the moment, it erodes our character and enables harm to continue. The next time you witness injustice, ask yourself, is my comfort more important than someone else's dignity? Is my fear of conflict worth allowing harm to go unchallenged? Is anything worth a full-on punishment? The lessons are clear. Standing up against injustice builds moral character and strengthens trust within a community. People remember those who defend what's right, even when it's difficult. Courage is contagious. Every act of speaking up lights the way for others to follow. Silence doesn't buy peace. True peace comes from the presence of justice, not its absence. Speaking out against injustice isn't just an act of bravery, it's an act of humanity. Injustice thrives in darkness, but even the smallest light can drive it away. You don't need to change the world in a single act, but by speaking up, you take a stand that ripples outward, making the world just a little brighter. Or, when a mistake needs correction, mistakes, when ignored, often spiral into larger problems, much like small cracks in a dam that, if left unchecked, can lead to catastrophic failure. Correcting errors is not about pointing fingers or assigning blame. It's about safeguarding the integrity of the whole. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the value of courage and accountability, particularly when it feels easier to remain silent. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, what stands in the way becomes the way. When it comes to mistakes, this means confronting errors head-on isn't an obstacle, it's the path forward. Early in my career, I encountered a situation where a small but critical miscalculation in a report was overlooked during a team presentation. In the moment, it seemed minor, almost inconsequential. Yet, I realized it could trigger a cascade of poor decisions if left unaddressed. I hesitated to speak up as the mistake wasn't mine, and calling it out could embarrass the person responsible. But Stoic teachings urge us to act for the greater good, not personal convenience. Gathering my resolve, I interrupted the discussion and pointed out the error. The room fell silent, tension thick in the air, but rather than sparking conflict, my intervention led to a constructive conversation that ultimately prevented a costly mistake. That moment taught me that addressing mistakes isn't about criticism, it's about accountability. Stoicism highlights that courage isn't just about physical bravery, it's about acting ethically and morally, even when it feels uncomfortable. Correcting a mistake isn't merely about fixing an immediate issue, it's about setting a standard of honesty and vigilance within your community. The approach matters. Tackle errors with respect, emphasize solutions rather than assigning blame, and ensure your intent is to improve rather than belittle. This creates an environment where mistakes are no longer feared, but seen as opportunities for growth. Ignoring a mistake for the sake of harmony does a disservice to everyone involved and often leads to greater consequences down the line. Remember, correcting an error doesn't make you a troublemaker. It makes you a steward of truth and progress. As Epictetus wisely said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. How you handle mistakes reflects your character. Speak up, not to assign blame, but to safeguard the collective goal. In doing so, you embody virtue, build trust, and foster a culture of integrity and excellence. 5. When your expertise can help others. Knowledge isn't just a personal asset, it's a responsibility. When your expertise can ease someone's burden, solve a problem, or provide clarity during a difficult time, staying silent does a disservice not only to them, but to yourself as well. The Stoics deeply believed in shared humanity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What is not good for the hive is not good for the bee. Your knowledge is not meant to sit idle like a trophy on a shelf, but to serve the greater good." I recall a time when someone close to me was overwhelmed with grief after losing a loved one. Having navigated similar pain in my own life, I recognized the signs of emotional isolation and despair. But I hesitated to offer support, fearing my words might be intrusive or inadequate. As their silence deepened, however, I realized my reluctance wasn't protecting them, it was abandoning them in their pain. One evening, I mustered the courage to reach out, saying, "I know how hard this is to carry alone. I've been there. If it helps, I'd love to share what worked for me." That simple offer opened the door to a conversation they desperately needed. Over time, my experiences provided comfort and guidance, turning my pain into a source of support for someone else. Your struggles, especially the painful ones, hold the power to guide others through similar challenges, whether it's lending an ear to someone facing a health crisis, offering financial advice to a friend in debt, or sharing your recovery journey. your expertise can be a lifeline. The key is to approach these moments with humility and sensitivity, never assuming you have all the answers, but showing you care enough to try. A thoughtful phrase like, "I've been through something similar, would you like to hear what worked for me?" can create a safe space for dialogue. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control. While you can't erase someone's pain or ensure they'll accept your help, you can control your intentions. Offer your expertise not for validation or applause, but as a commitment to making a positive impact. This choice strengthens relationships and fosters trust. Remaining silent when your knowledge could ease someone's suffering isn't humility, it's withholding a lifeline. As Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." Sharing what you've learned through your struggles is an act of profound service, one that not only uplifts others, but deepens your own sense of purpose. 6. When you let emotions dictate your actions. Allowing emotions to control your decisions can lead to impulsive reactions that harm your relationships, goals, and sense of self. Emotions are powerful forces, but unchecked they can cloud judgment and lead you astray. Stoicism teaches that while emotions are natural, they should never be in the driver's seat. Instead, they must be acknowledged, understood, and managed with reason and clarity. Consider a time when anger or frustration led you to say or do something you later regretted. Perhaps you snapped at a loved one during a moment of stress or made a hasty decision that backfired. These moments remind us that emotional reactions, while instinctive, often escalate situations unnecessarily. The Stoics encourage us to pause, reflect, and respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This means that while you can't control the triggers around you, you can control your response to them. Once, I found myself in a heated argument with a colleague over a project deadline. My initial impulse was to defend myself aggressively, but I took a moment to breathe and reflect on what really mattered, resolving the issue, not proving a point. By approaching the situation calmly, we were able to find common ground and complete the project successfully. The habit of emotional restraint is not about suppressing feelings, but mastering them. Practice mindfulness by observing your emotions without judgment. Ask yourself, is my reaction serving the greater good or just my ego? This pause can be transformative, allowing you to respond with wisdom rather than impulsiveness. By learning to manage your emotions, you not only cultivate inner peace, but also build stronger relationships and make better decisions. The way you handle emotional triggers reflects your character and resilience. As Epictetus advised, it's not things that upset us, but our judgments about them. When you refuse to let emotions dictate your actions, you align yourself with Stoic principles and set a standard of balance and rationality for those around you. This habit fosters a sense of calm, control, and clarity that will benefit you and everyone you interact with. I'd love to hear your experiences. Hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and share your story in the comments, whether it's a success or a challenge you've overcome. If you're not sure what to write, simply comment, "I can do it," to show you've completed this session. Your engagement helps this community grow toward wisdom and the art of transforming challenges into opportunities. I've left 2 more videos here so you can continue learning and growing on your personal development journey. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.